Hello, welcome back to MyRetroTat. Lovely to see you again. Or if you're new to the channel, very nice to meet you. My name's Kyle. We like old stuff on this channel. If you're into old stuff, stick around. You never know, you might find something interesting. Quick story for you. My wife and I had our 10-year wedding anniversary last week. I still can't believe that the time's gone so fast. We had a little trip down to Portsmouth for our anniversary, and we were off on our way to Commercial Road, which is one of the many high streets that Portsmouth's got. For some reason it's got about 8 of them, and they vary from really modern right down to time capsules with really interesting, unusual shops. And on the way past, we spotted what looked like a little charity shop at the side of the road. I'm like, wow, let's swing in there and have a look around. And then we got through the door and realised it's a warehouse filled to the brim with everything from Victorian mangles for doing your laundry right the way up to early 2000s phone gadgets and cases and portable CD players, all audio equipment, tools, musical instruments, cups, plates, glasses, wardrobes, you name it, is probably in there. Prices vary from, I would say, a little steep considering a lot of the stuff needs work, to an absolute bargain, which is what we've got here, by the way. You buy the ticket, you take the ride with a place like that. You never know what you're going to find in there, and I would imagine the stock changes almost weekly. I will definitely be going back. Please visit the Junk Emporium if you're planning on going to Portsmouth. This is a Pifco Spinair, item number 1088. It was made in the 70s. Apparently it's Italian made, so I'm not sure if it's a rebrand of another company's item, but it does look quite Pifco. So perhaps they just commissioned it. It's a 25 watt 2-speed oscillating fan, 9 inches across, and yeah, it cost me £5 because apparently it doesn't work properly, and we love a project. So let's take a closer look, shall we? Okay, so it's a fairly sturdy plastic construction. The Pifco logo looks really nice on it, in fairness. We can sort this sticker residue out. I appreciate that they actually took the time to let you know it isn't working properly rather than just billing you for it. The motor seems free, and I love the colour of the fan. The blades themselves, that's a really lovely vivid colour. Get the feeling that's going to give us some grief. I think in order to take the fan off, we're going to have to pop that out, and I really don't want to damage it because it's right on the front. Yep, there's your release mechanism for the gear-driven oscillator. And the back is pretty straightforward, and also it can be hung on the wall, which is awesome, like that. I don't know if you can make it. There we go. So Pifco model number 1088, 240 volt, 25 watt, made in Italy, and then bumped into the wall by an imbecile. Right, let's get some power to it. I'll get one of those sparkle shoots and see if we can burn the garage down immediately, or if it's going to take a few minutes. And if not at that point, then we might look at repairing it. I'll dial 9 and then I'll wait to dial the third 9 until we know what's happening. Right, I'm just going to get some scissors. There we go. Yeah, I wanted you guys to be here for this because I don't know if this even works. It says it doesn't spin properly, but it's the same as when you see a car online that only wants a couple of bits for the MOT. It's like, well, if it only wants a couple of bits for the MOT, why don't you do it? Normally that means that it's got way more problems. So I don't know. Might work, might not. Right, I'm just going to see if this is going to reach. That's definitely off. Reach, please reach. Yeah! Straight onto the extension lead. That's grand. Just going to move you. Okay. Right, moment of truth. Oh. Oh. Hello. It's got a bit of a rattle. The motor doesn't sound great, but it works. Right, so that was speed number 1. Here. It's taking a minute to throw itself up to full speed there. Something's out of balance, you can hear it. Oh, here she goes. The speed's varying with the oscillation, which says to me that there's something a little bit stiff or sticky or partly seized in there, maybe, or a bearing's out of whack. Okay, alright, I trust you now. Lovely. Well, touch wood, this should just be a light recommissioning. That was a stupid thing to say. Why did I say that? Great, here we go. Okay, so I think the first port of call is taking these 3 screws off here. Before we do that, we need to get a pot. I must say, I've done this a really nice way actually. It's really easy to get the screws through. Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Oh, it's a little plastic tang. Oh, I think that allows you to put the grill on in different orientations. I am taking these all the way out because I don't want them falling off after the fact. I'm sure you could probably leave one in situ, but knowing the way these projects tend to go for me, look at that, that's cool. The way these projects tend to go for me, I would imagine the one I don't remove is the one that goes missing. There's our grill, that's lovely. Chrome's in great nick as well, cool, that's a start. Now, is this push fit or is it screwed on? Oh, love it. It just pulls off. What a great design. Okay. I don't like this because it means that things are going a bit too well so far. This comes apart really nicely actually, so that means that it can be cleaned up. Alright, what we got in here? Okay. Ah, that's a shame, it's soldered on. We can disconnect it from this terminal here. Right, I found the appropriate size screwdriver to disconnect this. So, the switch is going to have to come out with the... Oh, are they melted in? That's not very nice of you, Pifco. How very, very unsportsmanlike. Great, looks like after all that we are going to have to go in through the front. Awesome. Please just be case screws. It's when you do this and you hear like a ding and the whole inside of the motor assembly falls to pieces. Cool, that's a good start. Nice one. Okay, right. There we go. A little bit of wriggle work needed, but we got there. That gearbox, I think there might be a little screw down in there. Let's try, shall we? See what we can see. Yep. There we go. I think we might be in. He says. There we are. So the screw's retained in there. So stand that on end. Oh, I nearly knocked it over. Still not wanting to fully cooperate. What are we doing? Hello? Room service. Oh, what? So I thought this was a complete piece of an assembly, but it's actually a little moulded plug. So, minimum damage tool. Please don't break. Oh, that was lucky. Okay, what we got in there? Flathead in there. And this should show us everything we need to see. Wow. Ho ho. That's great. Look at that. What a lovely simple idea. Worm drive there. You disengage that worm drive by lifting up on the plunger. That's all really... So, no you don't. That's permanently driven. Okay, so the motor spins and permanently drives this gear drive here, but this shaft is actually disengaged unless you pull up on it, push down on it. push down on it, and when you do, the gear emerges from down there. That is so beautifully simple. And yes, I'm sure that's probably how they all work, but I've never seen inside one of these before. Look at that. Obviously this motor's doing crazy amounts of RPM compared to what I can spin it to, so that gear reduction is enormous to give you a nice proportional speed. Lovely. Right, unfortunately it doesn't look like it comes apart any further than that. We can probably pull the rotor out of the stator by undoing these two nuts, and that should release all of that. Do we want to mess around with the worm drive? It would be nice to know what's up with it. The motor feels great actually. What's the bet in? This is all just really gummed up with all this old sticky grease. I don't know if you can hear that, but that is actually really sticky and there's a lot of fluff in here. I vote we just give it a really nice wash. Give it a shower, see how it comes around after that. It should go without saying, please don't try this at home. I don't want you getting hurt. This is a very dangerous thing I'm about to do, but I really wanted to capture this gear mechanism on film. I'm doing it for documentation purposes for a short period of time, and then it will be getting turned off at the wall and put back together once I've fixed it, okay? Please don't. This thing's going to be doing a couple of hundred RPM and there's no guard on it. It might only be flimsy plastic, but you'd be surprised at how much damage flimsy plastic can do when it's doing a couple of hundred RPM. I've captured it on film so that you don't need to see it in person. Don't hurt yourself in this hobby. It's a really quick way of ruining the fun. Okay, so with all that said, not to sound like I'm patronising you, I just don't want it on my head if someone gets hurt. This mechanism is fascinating, and we got to see. Ready? I used to really enjoy having 10 fingers on each hand. Okay, we're up to speed. I really don't like how much that fan's cavitating. Again, do not try this at home. And as viewed from underneath, got a lovely eccentric arm on there that converts the rotation. It's a con rod basically, like you'd get in an engine. That is wicked. Right, now we've admired that mechanism, let's blow it to pieces. Step one was to remove that gear at the bottom that operates the oscillation itself. The E-clips came out beautifully, however the gear itself did not. You can't quite tell from how sped up the footage is that they put up such a fight. I was really worried I was going to damage something, but clearly it was seized and therefore it needed to come out in order to be properly lubricated. So I sorted that out, just took the limiter screw out of that plunger, and out that comes. You can see there's even more of that gross old grease there. Keep an eye out the next time you see that plunger, actually, it's quite fascinating. I always wondered how these just work. Definitely shouldn't have spun that round like I did, but I did. What are we going to do about that? Yeah, the plunger system is really clever. It's just got a retainer with a pair of spring-loaded ball bearings in it, and all that happens is you push it down, the ball bearings squeeze in, and then as that white gear turns, there's a couple of little locators for those bearings, and they sit there compressed, and they wait until the gear comes around, and they pop out, and that engages the mechanism, and everything starts working. Really simple solution to that problem. I always wondered how you don't essentially grind gears. You think about it, you'd need a clutch of some sort. And then, yeah, cleaned all the bearing surfaces with brake cleaner, and then I just put way too much grease on everything. I always do, because I want to make sure this poor thing could have gone decades without having any adequate servicing, if ever. That might be the original grease.
put too much on. You can always remove excess afterwards. What you want to do is make sure you've gotten grease into absolutely every nook and cranny of those bearing surfaces, so that it doesn't either damage something, seize up, or worse yet, not operate at all. And you can find a lot of the time that excess of grease can also quieten things down as well. All in all, this was a lovely, straightforward repair. All I did after all of this point was just greased all the gear teeth, ran the fan up. Again, please don't try that at home. But I ran the fan up, turned it off again, greased it, kept going, cleaned it all back down once I'd finished, for the most part. And there we go. It really was that simple. Just popping the limiter screw back in now. There we go, greasing up the gears. And honestly, this thing was a pleasure to work on. Came apart lovely, went back together lovely, and it was a nice simple repair for a change on this channel.
Well, that might be the easiest repair we've done on this channel so far. All of this was just really seized up. This gear here, the shaft for that, was seized in. I'm amazed this little motor was able to overcome the resistance of that. But since then, there's no deviation in the sound of the motor at all. So I'm just going to focus on cleaning it up and getting it put back together.
This was standard fare for MyRetroTat at this point. It was just a gentle recommissioning, really. Give it a birthday. Don't do any more than is absolutely necessary, because you could go too far and ruin it. Came up lovely. Just the usual sticky stuff remover. Let it soak, let it do its job, and then just come back in with a tea towel and gentle pressure, and it just peels everything off. Did find this interesting sticker that said own fan on it. I presume that was some sort of subliminal messaging, because I now do in fact own fan. And then once that was gone, a little bit more sticky stuff remover to get any of the residue away. Find some more sellotape, because for some reason everybody has to use 8 pieces of sellotape when one would have done. That wasn't the Junk Emporium's fault. That's really old sellotape. You could tell from how gooey the glue had gone. Yeah, just keep going, clean it down. Did this for everything, and then I think what else did I do at this point? It's pretty straightforward, to be honest. Like I say, I took the fan itself up and washed it under the sink with some dish soap, and that came out beautiful. That's it. Just threw it back together.
Alright. I think the trick here is going to be to screw this clip on at the top and hang the mesh from that guard, sorry, hang the guard from the top. It's surprisingly fiddly considering it's out in the open. It was a little tricky to see just then. I don't think anything actually needs to happen with the chrome. It looks fine to me. So on she goes. There we go. Surprisingly uneventful video, this one, I must admit. Makes a nice change. Normally things escalate to quite a degree. Let's see if all of our tinkering and cleaning has worked out for us. It's lovely and quiet. That's really quiet. It moves a lot of air for such a small fan, I tell you. I think that might actually be better. I've got a big 12-inch fan that I normally have in here, and I'm not convinced that this isn't actually an objectively better fan. Put it on speed 2. Oh, that's getting fast. Yeah, look at that. Lovely. Alright. Now to put it up into the house, where it's not going to get absolutely filthy. Thanks very much for watching, as always. Please do like, comment and subscribe. It's always great to hear from you guys. I'm really surprised at how the channel's grown. 209 subscribers I think we're up to now, which is so cool. Yeah, it's lovely. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video and any others, and I really hope to see you again on the next one.